Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. Tonight we are doing a variation on shepherd's pie. It is curried shepherd's pie. So basically these are our ingredients and it's the same as any other shepherd's pie except we're using lamb mince and we're adding curry powder. So come on in and I'll show you what we need. Okay, so this one's really good for me because I've actually stopped using margarine for a while and the margarine needed using up. So there are there's one part where you can use butter or margarine. I still use butter, but I haven't been eating bread. And if I do have a sandwich, I haven't been having margarine. So basically it's a good one for using up margarine if you're not using margarine. So what we need is 750 grams of potatoes, which I've chopped up. I'm just soaking them in water so they don't go brown. Salt and pepper. 2 to 4 tablespoons of margarine. There was about 2.5 in there. Sorry, it's that one there. A little bit of milk. That's for when you do the mashed potato. 3/4 of a tablespoon of corn flour. Normally you use a half a tablespoon or a tablespoon, so this is a half a tablespoon, so I'm going to use 1.5 of those. That's corn flour there. That's what didn't fit in my jar. Oh, that buzzer going off just then. I'm doing roast pumpkin to go with this because I have not been eating vegetables, so it's a good one to serve the pumpkin with. 150 mils of beef stock, 40 grams of butter or margarine, 100 grams of onion finely chopped. There is actually 183 grams here. I'm using 183 grams. 450 grams of lamb mince. And a tablespoon of curry powder. Alright, we also need a dish to cook our pie in, some saucepan to do the potatoes in, and a frying pan or another saucepan to do the mince mix in. So, that being said and done, we are going to get the potatoes on. This serves 4. You can serve it with whatever you want. As I said, I'm doing veggies with mine, so I'm just basically going to go and raid the freezer for frozen vegetables because I know I've got them in there. And yeah, let's go. We want the oven on 200, which I've got anyway. And we want the back one here, I've got water in. I'm going to put the potatoes in. Now you want a bit of salt in with this as well. So we're going to do salted water. So I'm going to go grab the potatoes. I've just got to drain them off and then they can go in there. So potatoes always take forever to cook, but they are one of the key ingredients of this pie. Otherwise, you don't really have pie, you've just got mince. So in goes that, pop your lid on. I always like to do it at a little bit of an angle just so it can not bubble over, I guess you could say. All right, let's check on the pumpkin. So I had about half, say 1/4 of a butternut pumpkin. So I'm roasting that. Oh, it's looking really good too. Yum. All right, so I have lack of room, as you know. But anyway, I'm going to check on the pumpkin. So to check if it's done, stab it. It's still hard, but that's fine because we've still got plenty of time for this. It's already had 15 minutes on each side. So what I'm going to do now is just turn them over and probably just give them a final 15 minutes, which is hopefully going to be long enough to get everything else ready. Oh, and I'm going to make some gravy to go with it as well because I haven't had gravy for a while either. it's weird. When you're on your own, you tend to not really cook a lot of food. It's really bad because for someone that loves to cook, I'm actually not really enjoying it when I'm on my own. But anyway, I will get there. All right. So in the frying pan, here's what we need. We're going to melt the 40 grams of butter. So that's that one there. Get yourself a stirring apparatus. Okay, so once this is melted, we're going to pop the onion in. So I've just found out that there's another part to this recipe. This is why I say read your recipes. We need another small saucepan because we're going to make a gravy. So what we need to do is bring over the beef stock and pop that one in there. And we need to get 5 tablespoons of water, which I'm just going to put into the one that I've got that I just took that out of. And we are going to make up a bit of a paste with the corn flour. This is a good dish to learn to multitask because it's not really a difficult dish. It's only difficult if you let it be. Okay, so now that our margarine is really cranking up, turn it down and in goes the onion. These little bowls come in handy. I suggest if you're going to cook, get a few of these. I only brought 4 because if I need them, I've got jugs and things like that, but they are a lifesaver because I can literally walk from one side 3 steps over and I can grab what else I need without having to say, oh, let me stop and measure that. When I'm organised, I'm really good in the kitchen. But I'm just chilling. It's Friday night, so it's a cooking night. Football's on later. Should have gone to the football, but I'm here. So I'm just going to chill with this and watch the footy and yeah, so it'll be good. And the good thing is this is tomorrow's lunch as well. And 2 will go in the freezer. So it's really cool. So just keep stirring the onion. As you can see, the butter and or margarine, whichever one you use, is giving it that beautiful yellow colour as opposed to when you use oil and it starts to go brown. Alright, so into the 5 tablespoons of water, you're putting that 3/4 of a tablespoon of corn flour. Because we're making the gravy. And one of the key things, you've got to have good potato, you've got to have good meat, but you've definitely got to have a good gravy with it as well. There's a lot to it. A lot to having a good pie. I just realised I haven't put my timer on for my pumpkin, so I'm only going to give it probably another 10. I don't mind if my pumpkin's a little bit well done. So your oven's on 200 degrees. To the corn flour, add 60 ml, 5 tablespoons of water and stir to give a smooth paste. Bring the stock to the boil, add the corn flour and continue cooking until thickened. That's this one here. There's probably a bit of crap on the bottom of the hot plate, so got steam coming off it. I'm going to turn that down because I don't really need it to boil its bum off. All right. Look at that. Nice buttery onions. All right. So I reckon those onions are good to go. 5 minutes without colouring. Add the ground mince and the seasoning. Now, I got this out of the freezer the other day because I had planned to do it last night, but my head's been sore for the last couple of days. And therefore, I was not going to do 2 cooks in one night. We got up early, but I don't want to rush this recipe because I want it to be really tasty, so therefore I'm doing it tonight. I already decided last night I wasn't going to go to the football, so therefore at least I won't be disappointed with what I end up with for dinner because I'm making it. So if I'm disappointed, at least I haven't spent a lot of money on it. Which I normally end up doing if I have dinner when I'm out, so yeah. Chop it up. You want to get your salt and pepper going now. Give it a decent crack of each. If you're trying not to have a lot of salt, don't do too much salt, but a lot of pepper's always good. And keep in mind, if you are freezing it, your flavours are likely going to intensify. So therefore, if you've got a lot of salt, it will probably get saltier. If you've got a lot of pepper, it'll probably get pepperier. Is that a word? More peppery? Probably more peppery. So you're probably better off peppering the top when you go to serve. So for gravy, I've got the instant gravy with the gravy powder, which I'm going to use. I'm probably just going to do enough for tonight because I've got gravy when I go to work tomorrow for my lunch. Salt, pepper, stir in the curry powder, and then add some thickened stock to bind. I guess we're just putting all of that stock in once we get to it. All right, so we want a tablespoon of curry powder, which is quite a lot. But normally anything with curry, you want to go for a decent amount. I'm going to crank this one up. All right. So now our stock's boiling. So this is where we need to get the corn flour mix in. So you want to try and be doing it like this. And we just want that to thicken. Perfect. This is why I brought these little saucepans, because they're good for doing little things like this. All right, so we just want to bring that to the boil. So we're going to put the 1 tablespoon of curry powder in now. So we'll try and get that stock over into this. Alright, that's nearly coming to the boil. Alright, 1 tablespoon of curry powder. Perfect. If you want a bit more curry powder in it, you can, but I don't really think it's that necessary to go any more than the 1 tablespoon. Alright, get that curry powder in. May turn a few things yellow. Alright, perfect. Alright, it's all happening now, isn't it? Alright, try and get this really well cooked. Once it's all browned, we're going to add a little bit of the stock. And then we want to bring this to the boil for 15 minutes, simmer. And then once the potatoes are ready, we're going to mash those. Once we assemble it all, it's going in the oven for about 15 minutes. So in that 15 minutes while it's cooking, that's when you go vegetable gathering and make some gravy. So it's a fairly easy dish. A little bit time consuming, but it's a good one. Alright, now that these are really boiling, I'm going to back that off to 3. Alrighty. I've got this one turned down low, so I'm going to turn this one up. Okay. So we're pretty much all browned on the lamb mince now. We need to bring this one to the boil. And these are bubbling away beautifully, which is good. So I'll be back soon. Okay, I'm happy with how the mince is looking now. Our stock's not quite thick, but I'm going to add some anyway. Some of that. And we want to pop this on to simmer for 15 minutes. Once the stock's bubbling away, then we'll get it in with the rest of this. So pop your timer on for 15 minutes. It has just buzzed to say, have a look at your pumpkin. Just keep an eye on your potatoes, because if you cut them up smallish, they won't take long. Alright. They still want a lot longer, but we're getting there. Alright, I'll be back soon. So I've put the rest of the stock in with the mince, and the good news is the potato, when I stab it, it's not firm. So potatoes are ready. So what we're going to do is you just put the lid on and you just use that like a colander rather than get out a colander, because we're going to keep the potatoes in the saucepan. So I'm going to go do that and I'll be back. So I've just read something that's really interesting. For perfect mashed potatoes, drain as much water out as you can. Pop them over a low heat for about 3 minutes. That way it'll evaporate them and dry them out a little bit, and then you'll get a perfect mashed potato. You can use a fork or a potato masher to mash them. We've only got 4 minutes left on the mince. That's looking really good. It's smelling really good too. So it's all happening. Right, now I can hear that moisture burning off, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So come on over and we'll make the mashed potato on the other side. Okay, so I'm just using a masher, but if you don't have a masher, you can apparently use a fork. I recommend a masher, it's easier. Smash the potatoes up. We're going to add that margarine, the 2 to 4 tablespoons. And just a little bit of milk. Basically, we don't want them too runny. The margarine gives them a nice yellow colour as well, as you can see. Whoops, probably gone overboard with the little milk. But at least I'll have nice creamy mashed potato. I like creamy mashed potato. I haven't had mashed potato for a while, so this is possibly as close as I'm going to get to mashed potato for a while. I feel like it isn't much, but probably because by the time I drained it, it wasn't much. Alright, so they are good to go. Now all we're doing is waiting for our mince mixture. So that's pretty much ready. So grab yourself that pie dish. I like to call this one the apple pie dish because it's got apple pie on it, but this is one of the best ones that we own for making pies. So I use this for a lot of pies, or I've got a silver dish, so this is the apple pie dish. I have given it a spray, but it's decided to go. So I'm going to give it another spray. And then we want to bring the mince mixture straight over, because we're basically going to do a swapperoonie where the pumpkin comes out and the pie goes in. Alright, how was that for timing? Okay, so pop this in the bottom. Oh, I can just smell the curry as I'm dishing it in. Perfect, look at that. You can add some extra vegetables in if you want, because your normal shepherd's pie has always got normally peas and carrots. This one hasn't. So I guess that's where you can say the variation comes into play, because we haven't got the normal things in it, and we're using lamb mince, not beef mince. Alright, so what we want to do now is just spoon that on top and try and space it out, I guess, if we can. Alright, perfect. Don't know how hard it's going to be to spread the mashed potato, so I guess the theory is to try and space it out when you put it on, and then that way it's not too painful. We're going to make swirls on the top of the potato. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but it's fairly easy. Just grab a fork and go to town. I really feel like it's not a lot of potato, but then again, after saying that, we'll manage. Alright, spread it. Spread it out. Oh, perfect. You can get a spatula of some sort and spread this if you want, or a butter knife. Just try not to do what I'm doing, where I'm sort of picking up a bit of the meat on the way. The meat's supposed to stay under the potato. Sounds random, but it is what it is. Alright. There we go. It actually is smoothing out pretty well. So pretty happy with it. Alright. I've got a bit of meat on the top there, but as I say, it's not really the end of the world. Okay. We can do this with the spoon at the end. Make the swirls on the top with a fork. Oh, that's how they get that when you see a pie with the potato topping on it. I probably just ruined it by doing that because I'm not really swirling it. Alright. Okay, this is going in for 10 minutes to brown. I'll see you in 10. Okay, so I ended up giving it a little bit longer because it wasn't really brown. It hasn't super browned, but it's good enough. I've got my pumpkin ready, I've got veggies, I've got gravy. So, we're ready to serve. Thank you for watching Cooking with Violet Vixen. This has been curried shepherd's pie. I'll catch you next time.